You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Ashley Winch in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Monday, January 13th, episode 3603 by WERM Flooring. Good morning, Horse World.
You heard that right. It's Monday. The first day of a fabulous week of shows on Horses in the Morning. So saddle up and ride along. We promise to help you get through your week.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. Ashley, what do we have coming up on today's show?
We have a really fun show for you guys today. Back before the holidays, I sat down with Clara, who is the founder of this really incredible brand called Equisk. And we're going to talk about what she makes. They're these crazy resistance bands and gloves, all made to assist you in communicating with your horse. They're kind of terrifying looking, but it makes a lot of sense from a training perspective. So I'm really excited to share her story with you and her really cool products. She's in Australia, so that's why I had to record her, not in our normal time for Horses in the Morning. And then we have a really, really, really fun couple of guests joining us, Jeremy and Sam. These are realtors for, I don't even know, this is almost like a Horses in History / dream property situation.
It is, yeah.
And we're going to be talking about a 43-acre Virginia farm. You might know one of the frequenters of the halls. His name is Daniel Boone.
That's right. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about Wheatland Farm. And apparently George Washington spent some time there, too.
Come on. So cool.
So that's up for sale. So we're going to talk about that and what they have going on there. We haven't done one of these in a long time, so I'm glad you booked that. I love doing those. And then you learn a little bit about it, too.
Well, and we can write this off as a business expense, right? It's just a cool $11.3 million, Glenn.
Well, I always said if we get all the auditors together, and everybody chips in, then we each get a couple days every year we can visit.
Perfect. I love it.
Well, I know on Friday I said I wasn't going to be here today, and I really wasn't going to be here today.
That's right.
And as you all know, Jamie's probably out of her shoulder surgery by now. Apparently she had to be there at 4:30 in the morning. So it was very early start, and I haven't heard anything, so I don't have any updates for you. But then you were going to get Kat, your co-host for Quarter Horse, to fill in today for me because I'm leaving for Podfest, and then she had a health thing.
That's right. So here you are.
Well, here I am. Before we get with the show, though, I did want to mention that we're still watching the fires, and unfortunately, they have the one at about 15% contained, the other about 20%, and then the winds are supposed to kick up tonight again through Wednesday. And we're talking 50 to 100 mile an hour winds again, which is just crazy. We have 100 mile an hour winds in hurricanes, and everybody talks about it for a month ahead.
Yeah.
They got fire in their 100 mile an hour winds, which just makes it terrifying. So we're wishing all the best out there. I am going to put a link in the show notes today. Chronicle did a article on how to help equestrians affected by the wildfires. So if you would like to do that, I'll put a link in the show notes today, just like we did for North Carolina, right? We talked about that while it was happening, and I know that there's a lot of need there, and there's been a lot of controversy about from North Carolina saying California is getting so much attention. Well, you guys did too. Unfortunately, what happens with all of these stories is after it's over, they tend to go away. And unfortunately for the people living there, it's not over. So we're thinking about everybody in North Carolina as well, but we'll post that. Also, I wanted to mention Kalina, who lives in California in the area that was affected, and she's 16 years old, and I found her on a website. She's actually an assistant. She helps out at one of the farms out there, and she was helping with the rescues in Topanga, California. And everybody's seen this post because it's been shared a million bazillion times. But I just wanted to give her a shout out because she apparently was rescuing a horse that wouldn't load, and she didn't want to leave it, so she rode it 14 miles to safety down the roads with the traffic and the fire and all of that.
I have goosebumps. I mean,
I know she's a brave girl, let me tell you. And she's been on every Facebook page there is for the horse world. So good for her. I know she didn't do it for that reason, but whether you like it or not, Kalina's well known now around the horse world. And good for you. I mean, my God, she didn't know that horse and hopped on and went. It did say in her bio that she likes to ride ponies and horses of all kinds. Well, that explains it.
I think Cirque du Soleil might be reaching out to her for, some pyrotechnic riding training or something.
She was wearing a helmet. Good for her.
Thank goodness.
I like that too. So yes, there's a lot of horses that are displaced. I saw a couple posts over the weekend of hundreds of horses. They needed help, volunteers to help feed them and do that kind of thing. They're at various places around the city. And unfortunately, it's not over yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. But now it's time to do some daily Whinnies.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Well, we have a couple of auditor birthdays today. Lorene Barden, that's right, the one you hear almost every week doing ads for us on Fridays for Really Bad Ads. Mary Kitzmiller, of course, one of the hosts here on Horses in the Morning. Katie Kelly and Lilla Hewitt. Happy birthday to all of you.
And for my daily Winnie, even though it's repetitive since we've already given Jamie and Kat a shout out, I just wanted to send both of them healing vibes as they recover from their procedures this week. We will miss you, ladies, and I will steer the show best I can while Jamie and Glenn are out this week.
Yes, I really will be out starting tomorrow, so you're on your own. Nobody else is allowed to get surgery. None of that's supposed to happen.
Falling off horses. Anything.
No. So let's give us a quick, because I know we haven't on this show in a little bit, a baby update. How's the little one doing? What is he, 3-4 months now?
6 months, Glenn.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Just as
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yes. We just had his 6-month appointment, and vaccines, which are the worst experience for me as a parent because my husband has to hold him down. It's just torture. I hate it so much. But at least no more shots until his.
You probably hated it more than baby did.
I really think I did. He was done crying after 10 seconds, and I was hiding in my husband's shoulder. It's just, I'm such a softie, and that's okay, hysterically. And if you guys are interested, maybe I'll post a video in the auditor room or the HR and Mama page. He actually tried steak this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Isn't he a little young for steak?
Oh no. No. Let me tell you.
Jamie would hate this.
Yeah, sorry, Jamie. Fast forward, 2 minutes. We did these gorgeous ribeyes over the weekend, and he was just so entranced watching us. And I was, you know what? And I just cut off a piece of my steak, and you serve it like a kind of a French fry cut, like a couple fingers. He went to town. He doesn't have any teeth, so it's not like he's eating it. He was just gumming the hell out of it. He was just a pig in mud happy, so much so I saved him some and gave it to him for breakfast the next day. And he's a little carnivore baby. That's just how it's going to be. Sorry, Jamie.
For him, it's like gum. It's just, yeah.
He loves it. And then Zach's like, oh, maybe I'll make him some thick cut jerky for teething. And I'm like, we're going to have the bougiest baby. Oh, this is just baby steak. That's normal, right?
That is normal, yes. Of course, and everybody's now saying, but he could choke on it. Well, I doubt he even swallowed it.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Well, we got to mention one of our sponsors before we get to our first guest, and that is WERM Flooring. You know, let's face it, traditional floors and trailers, barns, workshops, they take a beating. They crack, they leak, they collect dust. Nobody likes to clean under the mats and horse trailers. They never last. Well, that's where WERM Flooring comes in. WERM Flooring, that stands for We Eliminate Rubber Mats. WERM Flooring is a sealed system that's easy to clean and maintain. No more back-breaking scrubbing. You just hose it out. It's slip resistant. It keeps your horse safe and sound. And unlike other options, WERM Flooring is built to last. It protects the floor and keeps it looking beautiful for years to come. And as you heard on the show, you can get your trailer done, but you also can get your barn floor done. And that's what Jamie did. So don't settle for a floor that's a constant hassle. Invest in WERM Flooring today. Visit WERM Flooring, WERM Flooring.com. Well, you interviewed the first guest offline, so tell us about that.
That's right. So I sat down with Clara, the founder of Equisk, which stands for Equine Skills, because I was very confused as to what those letters meant put together. So Equisk is revolutionizing the equestrian world with its innovative training gear designed to enhance both rider form and the profound connection between horse and rider. Their unique products, such as Steady Hands riding gloves and the Engaged Rider Resistance Bands, join us as we delve into Clara's journey, exploring the inspiration behind Equisk and the passion that drives the company's mission to elevate the equestrian experience. Joining me now is Clara Mehel, the founder of Equisk, whose Instagram algorithm told me I had to meet. Welcome to the show, Clara, and thank you so much for joining us all the way from Australia.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Thank you.
The thing that super intrigued me about your company is that you have these products that I've never seen. And they're these really cool gloves and resistance bands, which I know we're used to seeing in the gym, not on the back of a horse, but the videos were just so inspiring. And so before we get into the meat and potatoes about these products, I'd love for you to tell me about the name of your company and how you came up with these products, with this company. Give me a little bit of history.
Okay. So Equisk actually stands for equine, we all know equi.
Right.
And the SK is for skills. So the whole point of the company is to help riders improve their skills in the saddle. Yeah. Our core sort of belief is that better riders mean happier horses. And when you help riders to be better, horse welfare can improve as a result. So that's our whole mission. That's why I founded Equisk.
That's a beautiful thing. If only every horse product was founded with that in mind, the world would be a different place. But that's a whole nother podcast, right? So, these gloves, you guys, you have to see them. I'll link everything in the show notes. Explain it. This is an audio format. So to help me, it's gloves with this super cool kind of belt that goes around your hands to keep your hands, I don't know if we say in the box in front of the pommel or the best way to explain that, audio wise. But tell me about these gloves. And I mean, I certainly think everybody needs them. And I see so many puppy dog paw hands out there. And these just seem like such a cool tool. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it started, I'm a coach as well. I mean, I don't do much coaching anymore because, I have time.
A little busy.
A little busy at the moment. But as a coach, as you said, hands are something that riders struggle with because we as humans, we want to use our hands for everything. And when we're riding, most of us shouldn't be using our hands as much as we do. We can do a lot more with the rest of our body, a lot less with our hands. And usually our horses appreciate that. So, as a coach, you're constantly trying to get riders to do that, essentially, to do less with their hands. Yeah. And it got to the stage where I was like, okay, I need something here, and came up with this idea of essentially if the hands were linked together in this way, that it would help a lot of things. They help just generally with that you can't physically move them as much, so that helps a lot. But also there's this whole other aspect of it, which is a proprioception. So by having the band across the back of your hands, you've got a whole different feeling, and you immediately feel if your hand, say, goes up, compared to the other, or goes out, or wants to do the puppy paw thing. Or a lot of riders will pull back with one hand, whatever it is, and immediately you get tuned into that, and your hands just want to stay, as you say, in the box, in front of the horse, towards the horse's mouth, in the right position, working as a pair. So, I mean, yeah, I could go on, but they're fantastic. So the strap as well is, it's got a safety release, which I think is super important, because you hear about, you hear coaches saying, oh, well, don't worry, I put a scrunchie or, something around,
right,
baling twine around the hands, and say, oh, okay. I mean, yeah. Let's not forget, that we need to be able to use our hands sometimes if,
right,
if the unexpected happens. So that was a really important part of design. Especially we sell them for children as well, so we, the safety is key. But yeah, tested, and now we've got thousands of riders using them, and we haven't had touch wood, but it's been never any issues, because we've got 3 release points on the straps. We've got the middle little clicky thing that comes apart really easily, but also Velcro on the sides as well. So if for some reason there was something that happened, your hand got caught, it'll still release as well. So yeah,
that's important, and that was a note that I had for you, was the safety aspect, because like we're already getting on these animals ready to kill ourselves.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I was like, well, let's make sure we have a bit of a safety aspect here. So you have been and are still training. What's your background in riding? Like, tell me a bit of your horsey history that brought you here.
Long story short, but I actually grew up on my parents were breeding horses. So I grew up on a stud farm and sort of started riding pretty young. I was born in France, so that was back in France. And then we moved to Australia when I was, a young child. And in Australia, it's a little bit different. So the riding sort of took a bit of a back step, but I still, tried to do it as much as possible. Finished school, started doing my coaching qualifications at the same time as I was studying law. So I did a law degree as well. But, horses always drawn back to horses and coaching and riding. And then, I started working as a lawyer, and I was coaching on the side. Decided not to. I did a few stints with professional riders, as I don't know what you call it in the States, but like working pupil thing. And that kind of thing. And worked a little bit over in Europe grooming and riding, but ultimately decided I'd do that on the side and sort of, go into a more reasonable profession.
We call that a muggle job around here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, but then, always drawn to riding and coaching, and, had to have that on the side. And as I said, part of my coaching, I came up with this. It actually just started with those gloves. And one of my pupils saying, oh, you should sell these. They're really good. And I was like, oh, okay. And eventually, there's all this stuff you have to do, like find a manufacturer and blah, 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 and do the marketing. And so it started off slowly, and then it's just picked up, because I think it's an awesome product. So it, off the back of the product, I think it's just picked up. So now we sell all over the world, and we have all these top riders coming to us and saying how that they like the product, and it's just amazing. It's like
that's awesome to hear of an idea to come to fruition, and you have a whole life. Like, it's not like you get to do this 8 to 5 all day every day. I'm sure you have a million other things going on. So tell me about now the resistance bands, because I'll be honest, when I saw them in the video, I was a little terrified. I hate going to the gym. That's the first thing I think of when I think resistance bands. I'm thinking of the gym. I hate it. I'm sure there's good reasons for these resistance bands. Tell me about them.
It's one of those things you have to put them on and feel them. And then you go, oh, okay, I get it. So first of all, like, you can adjust them to make them like hard, like, a full gym workout, or so they're adjustable. They're the only resistance bands that are adjustable. So you can make them pretty loose, and then you just kind of, again, that ties back to proprioception. So when they're loose, or looser, they're not looser, they're coming off. But then you're just feeling your body. You're feeling, your heels is stretching the spring, in your ankles and your knees and your posture, and and then as you tighten them up, then you're like, oh, okay, that's starting to to be a real workout. So the rider can kind of decide where they want to go with them. But they do make you feel what your body is doing in the saddle, which muscles you're engaging, which ones you might not be engaging enough. If you want to, a lot of us will collapse a shoulder or drop a hip or something like that, and immediately in the bands you can feel that because you've got them crossed, over your body in a cross-sling type of setup. So you can feel immediately with, whether something is dropping, whether one leg is wanting to hitch up as well, or want to slide, or whatever, all the things our bodies do.
So if I'm wearing the resistance bands in the saddle, the resistance band on my right heel is going over my left shoulder, and it's crossing in front of my chest and my back. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
wow.
Right.
I feel like the first time I'd ride in that, I'd have to be like in a round pen or on a long line. Like, I've never thought about what my own body would feel like in the saddle. Like, that's such a silly thing to think about, but that's a wild concept.
Yeah, I think the other thing we say is they're for intermediate riders and up, at least. So they're not for beginners. Beginners have got enough, things going on. They're more for refining. Yeah. They're more for refining your position. So once you've got your position established, but even top riders, you can still get that little bit of extra, that percent of more stability or more awareness of what,
the awareness piece, I think, is what's the most fascinating thing about your gloves and the resistance bands is that I don't have to wait for my trainer to yell at me and say, Ashley, left shoulder again.
Yeah, exactly. Your coach gets sick of it. You get sick of it. And we don't always have our coaches with us. That's another thing we get is professional riders that don't always have a coach saying, love your products, because when I'm riding on my own, while I'm waiting to see my coach, they keep me from forming bad habits.
Absolutely. That's so cool. Yeah. So I know you mentioned we have the gloves for adults and children, which is amazing. I can't imagine, honestly, what kind of riders will come out of childhood with soft, quiet hands that stay where they're supposed to be. Like, that's huge. And it does go back to animal welfare, as you mentioned at the top of our interview, because God bless our lesson ponies, but they shouldn't be getting yanked all over the place either.
Exactly. What I think part of the thing we say is save your schoolmaster's mouth, like with the because,
exactly.
Yeah, that pony's going to go through a few riders, and if they all can have at least quiet hands to start with, it's going to be a massive.
It's like a beautiful future that I didn't know was possible. I just love that you came up with these. So back to the resistance bands. Would you say that riders can crank up, forgive me if I use the wrong word, maybe the tension to burn more calories in the saddle to get more of a workout? Or is it really more for the body awareness?
No, 100%. You can crank up the tension, as you say, and you'll feel the burn. So we'll say, like, start with a little bit, build it up, because you don't want to be uncomfortable. The other thing you don't want to do is have them too strong that your posture then starts to be compromised. So if you do have them too strong, your body eventually will give out somewhere, because you can't hold. Yeah, your muscles are only have the endurance and strength that they have. So take it slowly, but definitely ultimately you can get a big workout from, and you're burning more calories. I'm sure.
So this is
I'm not a nutritionist.
I was going to say, so this is for the gym girlies, not me. But I mean, we already burned so many calories in the saddle. What a beautiful way to just, if that's your thing, we love you for it. Here's a way to do it in the saddle. Like, what a time to be alive. I just love your brand. I love these products. Tell us about where we can find you, what other things you've got cooking, because clearly I think you've got a good thing going.
Yeah, so we're available online, just a website, www.equisk.com. And we sell, so at the moment we ship from Australia, but we ship all over the world. You can, we have different postage options if you want to straight away we do have express shipping. I know you guys in the States are used to getting your stuff like straight away.
Amazon,
So,
you know, if it's not here in 2
exactly.
hours, I'm over it.
Yeah.
It's made me a monster.
Yeah, and we got some exciting partnerships as well in the works. So we should be available, you know, hopefully in local tech stores soon. But for now, yeah, it's mostly on the website, especially if you're in the States. And yeah, we do have some super, super exciting things that are cooking. And in fact, that should be released probably early next year. We're aiming to release them in February. So,
oh my gosh! Well, we got you on just in time, and we'll have to have you back when the next batch of cookies is ready or whatever.
Yeah, and products saying that A, don't exist yet, B, that are gonna, I think, make massive improvements to horse welfare through riding awareness and riding improvement. So. Yeah.
What better mission to have? I mean, and like, ladies and gentlemen, she also has her whole other job. Like, I'm just so impressed, Clara, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. And I will link everything in the show notes for our listeners, and absolutely check them out, at least on Instagram, to see these people ride with these resistance bands. You guys, it is equal parts jaw-dropping and inspiring.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Confidently address your horse's unique weight needs and help optimize their overall well-being with research-proven Purina animal nutrition feeds designed by passionate equine nutritionists. Partner with Purina to nourish your horse to their optimal body condition. Explore weight management resources for your horse today at purinamills.com/feed-finder. That's purinamills.com/feed-finder. Coming up next, we haven't had one of these in a long time. We're going to take a look at a property that's for sale. It is a little tiny farm in Virginia with no history at all. Very sarcastic. It's 43 acres of a Virginia farm, and it has a ton of history, and we have Jeremy and Sam on to tell us about it. Well, Jeremy and Sam, thank you both for joining me. Jeremy, this property is just incredible. We were just looking at the pictures and oogling at them. It's the Wheatland Farm. It's in Loudoun County, Virginia, Horse Country Central. And tell us about the farm and the history. This has so much history.
It does. Well, first, thank you for having us on the program. I really appreciate it. And it's a pleasure to present Wheatland Farm to your listeners. I know you have quite a listener base. So Wheatland Farm was founded in 1741 by some area farmers here in western Loudoun County. And, you know, they farmed wheat, and that's what became known as Wheatland right over here. And so this property itself, it's 43 acres across 2 parcels. It's home to the U.S. Paradressage team selection trials for the 2018 World Equestrian Games. So the facilities that the current owners have put on the property truly are world class. But beyond that, there's this gorgeous manor house that has this steeped history. In fact, George Washington slept there in 1784. There's also a little guest house and a guest cottage. And then unique to this property is the Daniel Boone cottage that was moved to the property some years ago and perched right up in front of the lake that's on the property. It's pretty stunning when you're standing there and looking at the breadth of the property.
Yeah, I just stay in the Daniel Boone cottage. That'd be good enough for me. It's so cute. It's so cute. This whole place is incredible. It's 43 acres. It is a farm, obviously. It's completely fenced. It's made for farm operations, and it's just incredible. Before we get to the barn and the farm, though, the kitchen and the house are, just stunning.
So, yeah, it is. And what's unique about this property and other properties in Loudoun County and throughout Northern Virginia. So many historical properties have restricted easements or historic easements on them. So you can't do much with it. This property, this house, do not have those easements. It doesn't have those restrictions. So the owners have been able to do modern updates to this house without having to go through a historical commission, for instance. So the kitchen, that was added on to the back of this house. They also added on a full bathroom and laundry room on the first floor of the house. They also replaced the windows, the old historic windows, with double pane vinyl windows. So it's a more energy efficient house now. Yeah, it's pretty unique in that sense.
Yeah, we watch all the British shows where they're always like grade 1 listed, and you're not allowed to do anything without 12 people showing up, and that is a pain when you want to remodel something to the way you want it.
That's right. That's right.
This is so incredible. I mean, the whole. I cannot get over the pictures. The pool area is just worth it too. I mean, it's just
the pool. Yeah, the pool is a heated saltwater pool, and the current owners, the operations at this farm currently, it's therapeutic and paradressage. So that pool is part of the therapy programs that they use with some of the students. So the owners use it, and then the students use it. It's a nice benefit between the residents and then the foundation itself and the work that they do.
Well, I know all of our listeners, including Ashley, are going, okay, enough about the house. So, Sam, tell us about the horse part of this property. By the way, the barn inside is what every horse person dreams of. It's right out of Wellington.
It really is. And I just want to talk first a little bit about the location of the farm, because in real estate, we always say that phrase, location, location, location. But what makes Wheatland special is that it's centrally located in the western part of Loudoun County. And for your listeners, Loudoun County is the top equine county in the state of Virginia. $180 million worth of revenue, over 15,000 horses, and it's home to some of the biggest competitions in the United States, including the Upperville Colton Horse Show and then the Morven Park International Horse Trials, which is an international level event that draws over 100,000 spectators in the fall. To put it in perspective, the farm is about 30-minute drive to Upperville, which is very close to Middleburg, Virginia, which many people have already heard of. We're only about 20 minutes from Morven Park, which is where they have the big horse trials. And another fascinating opportunity here is that we have the Marion DuPont Medical Center, and that is a wonderful opportunity for people that need to have special care for the horses, not just in emergencies, but with these equine athletes that need top tier medical services. That's about a 20-minute drive too. So just want to give you perspective of why that's so important to any discipline, but especially for this farm. So as you were saying, the barn is magnificent. It was built by B&D Builders. It has extra wide aisles. Each stall has, its own individual watering system and its own individual fan. And it's connected to the spectacular indoor arena, which is 80 by 150. And the indoor has two enclosed viewing areas that are climate controlled. And there's also an area inside of the indoor arena where spectators and viewers can sit comfortably as well. Jeremy had mentioned that the property has been awarded the Center of Excellence, and what that means is that the United States Equestrian Federation has specific standards. So, for instance, when they hosted the selection trials in 2018, the outdoor arena has Atwood Pinnacle footing, and so the riders that come there will experience what you would experience at an international level competition, but the whole farm is held to that standard. So it's truly magnificent. And the one of the unique equine aspects of the farm is the second barn, which is 8 stalls, and that's housed in a very beautiful old cattle barn that was converted. And those stalls have they're underneath. It's a bank barn, which is always very warm in the winter and cool in the summer, but it also would serve as an excellent quarantine barn if one was needed.
And then is that the upstairs? Ashley and I both got goosebumps when we saw the one picture of the upstairs of the looks like a dance hall with the chandeliers and stuff. That is stunning.
Yes, that's above the old cattle barn with the 8 stalls that I was just talking about, and you can use that. They use it for their fundraising gala. It's a wonderful place to have folks come after horse shows.
Yeah, that's a party room right there.
Oh yeah, exactly. I want to get remarried
for a number. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, you could use this place as for that. You could do horse stuff, but you could also use it as an events venue very easily. I don't know if it's zoned that way, but you could.
Well, it has something called AR1 zoning. Jeremy, you want to speak to that a little bit?
So, sure, AR1 zoning in Loudoun County means that it's an agricultural property. So anything that's related to agriculture by right can be done there. So, for instance,
so you could have a horse wedding and you'd be fine as long as there were horses involved.
It's related to agriculture. I mean,
I've been to a wedding.
The new owner to verify.
I've been to a wedding where a horse wore a tuxedo. It's possible.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
This is stunning. It is just an incredible place. I can see why you guys are so excited about this one. Actually, the price for what it is, and, we have thousands of listeners. We've always joked over the years doing this show that if everybody just chipped in $100,000, we could own a place and then just do it as a timeshare. It'd be fine. We could
Absolutely.
We could each spend a week there, and we'd be good. It's on the market for what, 11.5?
It's 11.5 million, and we think that we're priced appropriately.
Oh yeah, in your area.
In Loudoun County, to find 43 acres of raw land would cost you between $25,000 and $50,000 an acre, and then on top of that, constructing these facilities. But what that property wouldn't have is the historical significance and the unique history and story. So this property, it's well laid out. It's easy to navigate. I mean, Sam and I have shown it many times at this point, and it's easy to go around. The perimeter trails are great for riding. It's a cross country course. The whole thing is fenced, so horses certainly are safe if they were to get out of their paddock. But it really is unique property, and we believe that we're priced appropriately, and I think anyone that picks it up at 11.5 is getting a phenomenal deal with a turnkey property.
I'd also like to add, for our listeners who are not super familiar with the area, Loudoun County is also Virginia wine country.
Yes, it is.
Great point. Great point.
And your girl always is slinging the wine aspect of everything. So there's that.
You're very close to several award-winning vineyards. You can actually see some vineyards in the distance from that property. There's a lovely farm brewery very close to the property. So you're exactly right.
Ride your horse.
There is a nice relationship between the equine industry and afterward, of course. You go afterward, not before, but you go afterward. And one of the things I just also wanted to mention.
It's hunt country also, so there's before and after and during. So it's all of those in hunt country.
Right.
Well, for the fox hunters, for sure. I just wanted to add another point that Jeremy had talked about, how the property, while it's extremely historic, it's not encumbered by any kind of historic designations. But also in Loudoun County, you see a lot of larger properties such as this that will have something called a conservation easement on them. And conservation easements are absolutely wonderful once someone decides they want to put their property in that. But this property is not in easement. And what that means is that the next owner can investigate going into an easement. But again, without an easement, there's no restriction. So for instance, if they wanted to put up another, maybe a smaller indoor somewhere else, they don't have to go through the easement process, which can be sometimes a bit cumbersome. So you're really walking in with the ability to do what you would like to do. Of course, you want to follow, county ordinances and such, but it gives you a lot of latitude.
I live in Ocala, Florida, which right now the prices have skyrocketed here for farms since the World Equestrian Center went in. So when I looked at that price, you see that price around here for a lot less. It's just prices really have for unique horse properties have gone up. So this I didn't think was that bad. Well, you guys, I think you'll have no trouble selling this one. Hopefully, whoever buys it will want to, we're big fans and we're big supporters of the para community, and we have been for years. So hopefully they'll still get them involved and still allow them access to use the property, as they need it. That would be wonderful. But good luck in selling it. We'll put a link to the listing in our show notes. But if you want to what's the website where they can find it?
Jeremy?
If you just go to elliman.com, ELLIMAN.com, and search for my name, it'll pop up in my listings, which is Jeremy Dalpiaz, Dalpiaz, and you'll be able to get to it from there.
And we'll put a link directly in the show notes, so you can just scroll and find it there. Good luck, guys. I'm excited to see who gets it.
Really appreciate it. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Well, that I got to tell you, if I was to pick one word, and I've never picked this word for a farm we've looked at for sale before. I mean, this isn't a farm; it's a palace, but is adorable. The way they have it decorated, the house and the barn and the yard and the around the pool, it's just adorable.
It is picturesque. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to stay there. I mean, for a lifetime, but a weekend would be all right too, except before we got on our interview, Jeremy told us that those silos are empty. And I said, Glenn, you said, hey, are there anything in those silos? And I said,
Yeah, because usually there are bathrooms in silos.
I said, ghosts. And Jeremy very suspiciously stayed quiet on that one. So I'm just going to, I'm a spooky girl. And it's so old, there has to be ghosts there.
Having lived in a house with a ghost, there are friendly ghosts, then there are not friendly ghosts. We had the friendly ghost who baked cookies, but we really did. And we found out that the house we lived in was built in the early 1800s, I think, and there was one road that went between like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and this house was on that road.
Oh, wow.
So it was a boarding house. It was one of those houses where you stopped at. They weren't hotels back then. They were just had rooms, and you stopped and stayed in a room, and you probably slept with 5 other people. But I don't know if somebody died in there, but the ghost definitely, you'd walk through cold parts of the house.
Yep.
You'd walk through, and it'd be very cold within about 4 feet, 5 feet circle.
Oh my
and it smelled like cookies.
At least they were a baker and a good one at that, right?
And everybody that worked for us, everybody that boarded there, they all experienced the ghost.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she would move around the house. She wouldn't be in just one part of the house. She would move around the house. Sometimes you'd find her in the basement or the kitchen or the living room. She was all over. We had a store there. We had a tack shop in the house. It was a big house. And there was one big room we had a tack shop in. And she would be in there occasionally, too. And there were occasional times when customers would say, it's so cold in here. And we'd look over and see where they were standing. It was like, okay, well, that's where she is now. Yeah. So there are friendly ghosts that bake cookies, and then there's the ones that'll terrify you and throw stuff at you off the walls. So
this property is so pretty. I'm sure it's friendly ghosts.
Yes, and if they're locked in the silos, who cares?
Maybe that's why nobody goes in them. Glenn solved the mystery. Oy.
I did have some friends that did have silo type things attached to their house, and they were always the bathroom. So every house I've ever seen with a silo had the bathroom in it.
I don't think I've seen just a retired one that's just full of nothing. That's why, Jeremy, we might need to get you back on and figure out this mystery. But
do any listeners have a property with a silo that you're doing something other than siloing? We want to know.
We need to know. Let us know.
Right. All right, let's talk about Calexiquin, and then we'll get on with some equestrian first world problems.
The foundation of a horse's well-being is a strong hoof. That's why Calexiquin, the new daily hoof supplement from the makers of Cosequin, contains key ingredients such as biotin, amino acids, copper, and zinc to support hoof integrity, quality growth, strength, and durability. What sets Calexiquin apart from other hoof supplements is the inclusion of vitamin E and selenium, which provide antioxidant support and membrane stabilization. Put your best hoof forward with Calexiquin. To learn more, visit Calexiquin, CALXEQUIN.com.
And Equestrian First World Problems this week are sponsored by Tough One. From the trailer to the show arena, the barn to the trails, and from snowy season to fly season, Tough One has horse owners covered. Tough One offers a wide variety of tack, horseware, and stable equipment, all at an affordable price to fit every horse owner's budget. Their products are designed with your horse's comfort and safety in mind. Whether you're gearing up for competition, everyday riding, or preparing for an unpredictable weather, Tough One is there to make sure you and your horse are ready for anything. Check out their full range of essential products and ride with confidence knowing Tough One has you covered from head to hoof. Visit ToughOne, that's the number one.com.
It's time for the weekly look at your equestrian first world problems. This ought to be good.
Well, it's time for Equestrian First World Problems, that time of the week when we hear from our auditors. And our auditors are like our super fans. They're our Patreon supporters. If you want to become an auditor, just go to horseradionetwork.com, scroll down in the middle of the page, and click on the auditor banner. And for as little as $3 a month, you can join the party. But we post in the auditor room, Facebook room, and we ask what their Equestrian First World Problems are for the week. And what do we have this week?
Well, this week, my girl Paige finally received her bottle green Charles Owen helmet that she special ordered in early November. It's January, but there's been too much snow and ice to fox hunt. So she included a beautiful selfie, and this is my favorite color, green.
Is it? Yeah, really?
That's
kind of old-fashioned green, actually, for a helmet.
In that green.
Yeah.
It would match my eyes. It would match my couch. I would just wear it around the house. So Paige,
it does look like Paige is wearing it around the house.
Well, she's got to wear it somewhere. It's too much snow and ice. Bless you,
Hang in there,
Paige.
Paige. It'll melt eventually.
Next up, Taylor said that she is on short-term disability for work since she's so sick and she has all this free time, but she can't even ride her horses. It's the horrible and the worst thing to ever happen to her, not riding. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Oh, Taylor.
Taylor, we're still thinking about you. But you know what, Taylor? We're glad you're here.
That's right. That's right. And your horses are too.
Yep. Everybody's here. It'll just be a matter of time and you'll be back riding in no time. But we're all just very happy that you're able to post this.
That's right. That's right. Karina said... Okay, so I made the meme for today's Equestrian First World Problem because this has happened to me. I'm a smaller girl. I'm like 5'2", and I made the meme. It said, went to muck stalls, accidentally tipped the wheelbarrow over. I'm not sure if anybody else has experienced that, but it certainly happens
many
to me all
times.
the time.
you hit a hoof print in the dirt, and all of a sudden it goes...
Ow! Oh, it's so frustrating. So Karina said her first world problem is similar to the meme, but much worse. She said she was out feeding her horses. She pulled a leg muscle, fell, and dislocated her right shoulder. No! Oh, Karina.
Okay, the only thing that would have been worse than that is if she had fallen and dislocated her right shoulder in the manure heap.
In the poop. I agree.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm thinking about you, girl.
Oof. Ooh. Sandy said that she can't believe she's posting this, but I don't even know if we should say this on air. Sandy wrote that she doesn't need any horse-related items right now and that she's not even tempted by post-holiday sales.
What's wrong with her?
This is on the record, Sandy. Why would you put this in the ether? She says she does need replacement elastic field boot laces for $5. She can't find anywhere to buy them without a ridiculous shipping charge. So she's looking for someone to help her get some laces for her boots. Sandy, I'm sure we can find something for you.
We had our mobile unit years ago. We would sell so many laces for boots
at
the shows.
It.
Yeah.
Especially at a show. That's the place to do it. And then triple
we would sell
charge
so many
it.
of those.
Kayla said that Odin is supposed to come home from training this week, but that means she'll have less than 2 weeks to play with him before she goes to Mexico. Kayla, you already promised me that you're going to have margaritas for me, so I don't really want to hear about it. Next. Jenna said she's moving one of her horses to an indoor next week, but her other 4 horses are staying home, so she has to bring her saddle back and forth to the new barn.
Oh.
Boo-hoo. Tracy cleaned tack with her daughter yesterday. That's like my favorite horse chore to do. She rides.
Really?
Oh, I love it. I'll put on a movie and just clean my tack and, of course, have a glass or 3 of wine. It's the best. I love it. So Tracy's daughter rides her fjord Western. She has 2 fjords. Both can ride English and Western. So now she has that much more tack to clean. Yeah, well.
They're cute, too. She posted a picture of the fjords. I love fjords.
You know, Tracy was my first interview when I started with Horse Radio Network, and I got her for Secret Santa this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
it
was a really full, full circle moment. Really cool.
We had some fjords that used to drive in our carriage club when we had the carriage club in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And my pony used to love to follow the fjord because they're steady.
Yes.
You know, they're very steady. They don't speed up and slow down. They're just steady.
Yep.
So my pony used to tuck in behind that fjord, and that was it. That's where we'd stay.
Jane said that she won one of the medium weight weather Beta blankets from Radiothon.
Oh,
Yay,
yeah.
Jane. but it hasn't been cold enough in Florida to use it. There's snow on my yard right now, Jane. I don't want to hear it. Thankfully,
It's been cold here, though.
she said
It's been
she's
in the
moving to
20s some
Ohio,
nights.
so she'll.
Oh,
deal
yeah,
with it.
you'll use it there.
I
Who
don't want to
moves
hear
from
about it.
Florida to Ohio?
I think she got it backwards, Glennie. I think Jane's a little confused.
Nobody does that.
No, they don't. Shelley said, when you hoard so much horse stuff and your friend offers to buy a heavy blanket off of you, yay for more money. But it fits the horse that she has now. And what if his Rambo dies and he still needs it? Oh. Well, if you got more money, you could buy another blanket.
Jennifer's been going through her old blanket stash looking for blankets for James because James is in between Scooter and Nigel.
Right.
So he actually, what was it, a 69 that fit him? So he's very short coupled. And he's kind of interesting size. So she's been playing around trying not to buy new stuff and finding, but Scooter's a little too small and Nigel's is way too big.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good luck, Jen. And Shelley, girl math, when in doubt, girl math. Finally, Melissa said that her horse was absolutely crazy yesterday, rearing, spinning, airs above the ground. At least twice, no part of her body was touching the horse. Her pivo froze and she doesn't have any video. Melissa, that is
All
a
right, you shouldn't be riding when it's cold enough to freeze your pivo, which sounds disgusting and perverted. On that note,
I got nothing.
There's something in radio called a pull quote. There's your pull quote.
That's absolutely. My pivo is frozen.
Years ago, I used to be better about marking the pull quotes, and 99% of them were Jamie's, of course.
Of course.
And then we'd play them. We'd play them 2 or 3 in a row, or I'd put them in openers.
Oh, how funny!
But then I forgot. Then I forgot to do it. I got out of the habit of pulling the pull quotes. There you go.
That's a good one.
All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you, Ashley, for putting things together today. Really appreciate it. I'll speak to you in a week. I'm going to be off to Podfest tomorrow.
Yay!
And you're not going this year.
That's what I meant.
I'm going to miss you.
I know.
You hung out with me last year at Podfest. It was so much fun.
We could tell them about another little visit we have up our sleeves.
Oh, yeah, you're going to visit me.
That's right. I'm bringing Levi, and Levi's going to meet horses for the first time, and it's going to be James, Nigel, and Scooter.
Yes, Scooter loves kids, so that'll be so much fun. That'll be so much fun. Yeah, you're going to visit in a couple of weeks, right?
That's right. Yeah, I need to get the hell out of this snow. I'm over it.
Well, I hope it warms up a little. It's been a little chilly here, so we'll hope it warms up into the 70s for you. I'll pray for that.
Thank you.
We'll get you some warm weather. We're going to hang around, auditors. We're going to hang around and talk for a little bit in the post show. We'll do that. But otherwise, I'll talk to you all in a week. You'll be back here with Lisa on Wednesday, right?
That's right. And we have some really fun stuff planned. Stay tuned in the auditor room for some questions there. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I've hosted with Lisa, or if I did, it was a long time
Well, I don't think
ago.
you've done Horses in the Morning without Jamie or I, have you?
I don't.
This will be your first time?
Maybe so.
Yeah. You do the best ofs, but actually hosting, I don't think so. So good luck.
You
and
won't
tomorrow,
be working, so either way, hey.
I wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow we have Vera on, who was the one that was going viral last week for her post about rescuing horses in the California fire. She's an endurance rider, and Karen and I got to speak with her last week, one evening after she was done running around rescuing horses. So that interview will be tomorrow. It's a longer interview because she had so much to talk about, but if you want to hear the rest of that interview, it will be tomorrow's endurance episode. But other than that, we'll talk to you all next week. I'm headed off to Podfest.